most difficult aspects of the Japanese language is kanji. And one of the most difficult aspects of kanji is stroke order. And the many different ways to read the same kanji depending on the context of the sentence, position in the sentence, or position of the sun in the sky. I am by no means a professional calligrapher, but I do know the basics of stroke order, and so I thought I would share those rules with you. Before we get started, it is very important to remember the #1 rule of kanji. There are exceptions to every rule. Rule number 1. Horizontals. It's just a jump to the left. When writing kanji, always start with your horizontals first and write them left to right. The kanji for 1, 2, and 3 are actually made up of only horizontal lines. That's 1. Now it's 2. And this is 3. Easy breezy, beautiful kanji girl. Rule number 2. Verticals. Drop it like it's hot. I should probably not do that anymore, huh? When a kanji has a vertical line, you draw it from top to bottom after finishing the horizontal line. So in the kanji for 10, you start with the horizontal line and then finish with the vertical line. Rule number 3, all your central verticals happen before any fancy symmetrical lines on the outside. There's really no easy way to phrase that, is there? Basically what I mean is that central vertical lines, like in this line for the kanji for 10, happens before anything else. Aside from the horizontal line, but you know that already. So if I wanted to turn this kanji into the kanji for tree, I would do my horizontal, vertical, and then add the extra stuff no matter what position it is. When drawing the symmetrical outside lines, you start from the center up here at the little cross area and draw down. And now this is the kanji for tree. A really bad kanji for tree, but don't judge me on how well I draw this. I'm not an expert. Remember though, start with the left one first, then the right. Another example of this rule will be the kanji for water. You start with the vertical line here, add the little tick mark, and then on the left, you start with the other kanji. Note that this is 1 move, this is 2. Rule number 4, boxes and bottoms. This is the kanji for mouth. Yes, it looks like a box. Most people when they draw a box, they do something along the lines of like that, or even maybe 4 lines like that. Not the case in kanji. Boxes in kanji are actually made of only 3 strokes, starting with the vertical left, then on the top horizontal, continuing down, not taking 2 extra strokes, and then closing the box. Some box kanji have stuff inside them, and when that happens, all the stuff on the inside happens before closing the final box. Take, for example, the kanji kai, which means time. Not like telling the time, but if you say 1 time, it would be ikkai. That kanji looks like this. So there's the beginning of my box. Then there's a little box inside it. So you finish this little tiny box before finishing the big box. Similarly, 3-sided kanji is done in the same fashion. So if we were to look at the kanji for moon, left kind of curved line, double line there, then finishing what's in the middle last. Kanji that have those little squiggly lines around them also follow the same rule. So an example would be the kanji for close. First, you do all this lovely stuff, then flick, squiggly comes last because it's on the bottom. Basic rule, bottoms always last. Rule number 5, diagonals, right to left before left to right. This is the kanji for father in Japanese. All diagonals. The diagonals that bend right to left get drawn before left to right, but it follows the same rules of do the top stuff first, then the bottom. So if I were just to draw this again real quick, you would draw right to left to right, and then even though these are crossed and this one starts on the left, right to left first. I must sound like a really annoying teacher right now, but trust me, this will help. Rule number 6, strokes that cross more than 3 lines get drawn last. In this example for the kanji to right, you can see there's a mess load of lines in there. All of the horizontal lines come first in this top part, not the box, ignore the box, and then the vertical line. So if I'm writing it, same rules, then that part, and then your box, inside, finish. The reason I say more than 3 horizontal lines is because kanji with 3 horizontal lines get drawn differently. For example, in the kanji for king, you draw the first horizontal line, then vertical, then the other 2. Hope that wasn't confusing. Rule number 7, dashes come last. Lots of kanji have little dashes in them. Think of them like dotting your I's and crossing the T's we do in English. They come last, except in the case of, closing boxes and the little squigglies. This is the kanji for dog. How to write it? Horizontal line first, vertical to the left, not really vertical, then the little one to the right, then the dash. An example for one that doesn't come last would be a box kanji like country. Kuni is a box kanji, so you start with your box. Then the same rules we did for king, then the dash, then closing of the box. Makes sense? Probably not. I know it's very, very confusing. Rule number 8, radicals. More confusing than radical. Some kanji is so complicated that it's made up of multiple kanji and symbols referred to as radicals because they don't give a Radicals are a horrible, horrible creation in the world of kanji, but in the basics of writing them, it's simple. Each individual part of the kanji gets done separately. So in this poorly drawn kanji for the word work, or hataraku, you would start with this one, then this one, and then this one, in that order. Each one follows the rules that we previously discussed. And those are the basic rules of stroke order to kanji, but remember the most important rule, there are exceptions to every rule. If you have further kanji questions, leave them in the comments below or on Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter, and I will see you next time, cuties. Bye! Left to right. Wow. That is bleeding horribly. We're not gonna use you because you're dripping. Oh my God, look at that. The pen has dripped all over me. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun day of spraying and wiping. This episode is brought to you by All Purpose